Hello, Professor. This is Cyber Suits. Today we'll dissect the 2024 Toronto Zoo ransomware attack. So, in 2024, the zoo joined a fat list of public entities that have been targeted by ransomware. Now, the attack wasn't just disruptive, it exposed severe vulnerabilities in their system, especially in regards to safeguarding sensitive data. Now, the breach affected employees, donors, patrons, and anyone that had registered their name with the zoo at any point in visitation within decades. This just highlights the fact that no organization in any work of life is immune to attacks like this. So, on the 15th of January, a ransomware group named Akira encrypted critical systems and exfiltrated the PIIs and financial records of everyone I just mentioned. And while the zoo refused to pay the ransom, they did have to collaborate with the City of Toronto's IT team, external cybersecurity experts, and of course, law enforcement. So even though they didn't pay, they still faced weeks of downtime and reputation fallout. And of course, the amount it would cost to finally upgrade their uh, proactive defenses. So ethically, the breach spotlighted like failures in their data stewardship, and of course, the zoo kind of struggled with transparency, wondering if disclosing details would be aiding the attackers, but then also withholding the details was against compliance. So legally, under PIPEDA, the zoo faced very strict breach reporting deadlines and potential penalties for insufficient safeguards. I'll let my teammates go into detail on how exactly the zoo identified and contained and eradicated this issue.
Talking about the incident response team at the Toronto Zoo, the team was a collaborative unit that was made up of in-house IT staff, city-level cybersecurity personnel, and external consultants. Leading the response team was the incident response manager and IT director, supported by cybersecurity analysts to monitor alerts and investigate logs. Network administrator was there to isolate infested systems, while a system administrator restored the critical services from their backups. The City of Toronto's Information Security Office coordinated broader cybersecurity efforts and ensured compliance. The forensic consultant was brought in to trace the breach, and a legal officer was there to handle the reporting under the Personal Information Protection and Electronic Documents Act. Finally, they brought in a telecommunications lead to manage public disclosures and stakeholder messaging. This multidisciplinary team was there to ensure a fast, well-coordinated response to contain the threats and begin their recovery process. The identification and detection phase was an interesting one. The zoo reported the breach through a combination of security tools. Their SIM system, like the IBM AQ radar, flagged abnormal login attempts and unauthorized data access. Endpoint detection tools like the Microsoft Defender picked up encryption behavior that was consistent with ransomware. Network monitoring systems detected high volume outbound traffic to suspicious IP addresses, while intrusion detection systems like SNOT, alongside threat intelligence tools like anomaly validated known ransomware signatures. These tools worked hand in glove to uncover the Akira ransomware breach that enabled the team to isolate the affected systems, assess the damage, and trigger their incident response plan.
Okay, so I'll be taking you through the containment and eradication phase of the Toronto Zoo ransomware attack. So the first important thing to note is the ransom wasn't paid by the Toronto Zoo. So first, if you're not going to pay the ransom, you should have a very good backup plan or a very good response. So I'll take you through the containment phase first. The first thing that was done by this Toronto Zoo IT team was to isolate affected systems, which makes sense. Think of it like COVID. People that were infected had to be quarantined from people that still felt normal or were still in normal conditions. It's important for you to prevent the spread. So in this case, they needed to isolate affected systems that had already been hit by the ransomware. So they used tools like Sentinel-1 in collaboration with the Toronto cybersecurity experts team. So they used this tool called Sentinel-1 to detect the ransomware activities and also exterminate it from the system. So next we talk about like their eradication process. So first they had to scan all their servers for any trace of the ransomware using advanced malware removal tools. Some of these servers obviously were already hit and they need to be re-imaged. So they had to re-image damaged servers and bring them up to speed. So the idea here was to bring core operations back because obviously they couldn't recover all their systems. So the idea is to get your core machines running for you to be able to provide services just like you were doing. So with these steps, they were able to conquer the containment and eradication phase, and there was no backdoor for the attackers to come back again.
Thank you. Following the Toronto Zoo incident, we are executing focused goals across scalability, availability, usability, and security to build a more resilient digital environment. For scalability, we are using Azure Terraform to enforce infrastructure as code, enabling rapid and consistent cloud resource provision. This paired with incremental and differential backups ensure our systems scale without impacting cost or performance. We aim to keep auto-scaling events under 10% of peak demand, a key KPI for smart elasticity. For availability, with Azure Site Recovery for disaster recovery and Azure Front Door for global load balancing, we are strengthening redundancy, clustering and geo-replication for the support for tolerance. Our target is 99.99% uptime with an RPO of 1 hour and an RTO under 4 hours, validated by quarterly failover drills. For usability, we are implementing user experience through streamlined authentication using Okta and Azure Active Directory, while automating provisioning through self-service portals. User onboarding time is a key KPI, which we aim to reduce by 30%. For security, we are implementing a zero trust security model, enforced with Okta for multi-factor authentication, Azure Active Directory for role-based access control, Palo Alto Firewall for network segmentation, and CrowdStrike ETL for endpoint detection and response. Nexus and Qualys for handling weekly vulnerability scans, while Bombsuit and Metasploit will be used for monthly penetration testing. With this goal, we are not just mitigating risk, we are building a resilient, intelligent, and future-ready infrastructure.
In conclusion, cyber attacks are becoming more common, and the recent breach at Toronto Zoo is a wake-up call. It showed us how vulnerable legacy systems can be and why we need strong, proactive defenses. Now, our recommendation. Number one, enhanced detection. First, must be in place our SIM capabilities by upgrading and fine-tuning tools like Microsoft Sentinel. Organizations can detect threats faster and connect the dots between isolated incidents. Secondly, an incident response playbook must be in place in case of an emergency, as that of the Zoo incident. It will be rehearsed monthly. Clear roles assigned using tools like Hives or MISP and ensure everyone knows what to do when an attack happens. Thirdly, test of defenses. Regular security audits must be conducted. You can also carry out simulations of real-life attack using the red team and the blue team scenario. You can also use tools like Nexus for vulnerability scanning. This will help uncover hidden gaps before attackers find them. Training and awareness. Users training is a must because cybersecurity is everyone's job. Platforms like the Know Before help staff to recognize phishing and social engineering tools that attackers use. This is a key line of defense. Finally, Toronto Zoo attack reminds us that cybersecurity isn't just for those in the tech industry. It is all about readiness, training, and having the right tools in place. Let us learn from this and stay ahead of this threat.